A warm good afternoon and Jai Hind, dear children. It's been really a long time since we did a little bit of, say, storytelling. So today I'm here to tell you a short story, a very short story, which is a part of fiction genre. Okay, and it is there in your MCB Unit 2. I have a dream, if I'm not wrong, and the first section of this unit is the last night. Okay, so with this word, you can easily decipher, you can easily surmise that it might have been something that struck you in the last night. Okay, so without any further ado, let's start with it. Okay, let me. So let me, talk about first little bit, very short description about the lovely author of this story. She is Daphne du Maurier. I don't know whether I have pronounced it correctly or not, but then you can always check it out. Daphne du Maurier was born in London to a family of artists. She wrote novels and short stories. Her best-known works are Rebecca, The Birds, and Jamaica Inn. In addition to novels, she also wrote biographies, several of which trace her own ancestry. Elements of mystery, suspense, horror, and the supernatural, often set against the backdrop of Cornwall, are recurrent themes in her bold writing. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so look at this beautiful picture of the story. Now, when I look into this picture, I can gather a few things. That is the setting of the house. It seems to be as if it was a castle. It had, might be somewhere in the forest, which had a very zigzag kind of a pathway. And then I can see a big, is it a latch? Yeah, I can call it a padlock, or you can say latch, and then there is that big rusted lock, which is putting these two gates together. And then I can see that there are lots and lots of trees, around this house, right? So this is what I can see. I can gather from the very first page of this story. The story is titled I Have a Dream. That is your second unit. And today we'll be dealing with last night. That is the section 1. Dreams can be interpreted in many different ways. Yes. Sometimes they show us the future. At other times, they reveal our deepest desires and fears. They can be visions of tomorrow or a reflection of our aspirations. Okay, so these are the varieties of perceptions regarding dreams. Okay, so let us read what the narrator says in her dream in this excerpt from the popular classic Rebecca. So this is an excerpt from her works, which was Rebecca. Okay, so let's begin with it. Please keep your best friends there, hands on. Okay, so you see, these should be your best friends. Just put them in and try to, and close your eyes and then try to visualize. I'm sure you all will be able to, get yourself into that last night, the dream which the narrator is explaining. So here I go. The story begins. Last night, I dreamt I went to Mandalay again. It seemed to me I stood up by the iron gate leading to the drive, and for a while I could not enter, for the way was barred to me. Okay, that means I was not allowed. There was a padlock and a chain upon the gate. Remember, I talked about that while I was talking about that picture? Okay. I called in my dream to the lodge keeper and had no answer. And peering closer through the rusted spokes of the gate, I saw that the lodge was uninhabited. So, what happens when you find that nobody's answering? Don't we do that knock knock to your neighbors or maybe somebody who's nearby, and then check it out whether there's someone who can help you out in entering that particular house, or like supposing if nobody's responding, so don't we ask the neighbors like where the that Mr. XYZ has been, or where are they, any idea, any news about them, isn't it? So that is what the narrator is talking about here. She's saying that, when I found that there was that padlock, that latch, and then chains entangled there, and then when I tried to, look into it so closely, and then I found that, oh my God, in that lodge, nobody was there. Nobody was there to help her out. Okay. So that was in the first, paragraph. Now let's move on to the second. No smoke came from the chimney. So now she's checking out if, there are smokes visible coming out from the chimney. What happens? We get to know that someone or the other is there inside the house, inside the lodge. So the narrator is checking out, and then she says that the little lattice windows gaped forlorn. That means the window which was made of lattice, it's something, thin strips of wood. It can be of metal also, or maybe say those bamboos, they are put in a crisscross manner. Crisscrosses like this, they are put in this manner, and then this is how the windows and the fences are made. Okay, so she's saying that the windows are also, they also seem to be wide open, but then no one was there, right? Then, like all dreamers, I possessed of a sudden with supernatural powers and passed like a spirit through a barrier before me. So now she says that, oh my God, something, passed away like this. Okay. The drive wound away in front of me, twisting and turning. So the drive is, twisting, turning, as it had always done. But as I advanced, I'm advancing like this. Doom, dodom, dododododododom. So this was the setup. Okay. So she was advancing like this, stealthily, spookily. Okay. All right. So, but as I advanced, I was aware that a change had come upon it. It was narrow and unkept, not the drive we had known. Now she's trying to, correlate the driveway which in reality the driveway which she had in front of that house. Okay, so she's trying to match it. Then she's thinking, she's pondering like this, that no, some or the other thing is there which is very different. And what was the difference? The difference was that it was not properly kept. It wasn't taken care of, right? It was unkept. That means it was not properly kept, not properly cared. Okay, on and on and on and on. Now, east, now west, wound the poor thread that had once been our drive. Sometimes I thought it lost, but it appeared again. So you see, she's all, dreaming. Okay, she's dreaming like this with closed eyes. She's dreaming, and then she's able to, visualize all these things. And then she, in her dreams, what appeared? It appeared again beneath a fallen tree. So now in her dreams, what is she seeing? She's able to see a tree which is fallen. Okay, perhaps, or struggling on the other side of the muddied ditch created by the winter rain. So she's able to, dream that there must have been, say, ditch in which, ditch created not by the rainy season, but by the winter rains. Okay, so she's surmising that. And then she says, I had not thought the way so long. Surely the miles had multiplied, even as the trees had done. So now she's thinking that, oh my God, before there were no so many trees, but how come I'm able to see so many trees lined up? So that's what was the difference. Okay. And the path led but to a labyrinth, some choked wilderness, and not to the house at all. I came upon it suddenly, the approach masked by the unnatural growth of a vast shrub that spread in all directions. And I stood, my heart thumping in my breast like this. She was, scared. She was feeling like, oh my God, what has happened? How come so many trees and bushes and vast shrub growing everywhere? She could see shrubs here, she could see shrubs there. And she was like, oh my God, what had happened? The strange prick of tears behind my eyes. So, she was feeling those tears in her eyes. Okay, like she was feeling very sad and feeling very glum and morose, looking into such unkept driveway. Then there wasn't any, smoke coming out from the chimney. So she was feeling sad, everything was not that beautiful. So there was Mandalay, our Mandalay, secretive and silent, okay, as it has always been, the grey stone shining in the moonlight of my dream, the mullioned windows reflecting the green lawns and the terrace. So now this house, the narrator is talking about the beauty. Okay, the beauty, in the sense, I would say, she's talking about how the windows, it was, the lawns were beautiful, the terrace was so beautiful, and whenever she used to open the window used to gape towards the lawn, like it was, one could see the beautiful lush green lawn, and then the lawn stretched towards the seaside, and beautiful night, the moon was shining, everything was glittering in that silver color. Okay, and there was that perfect symmetry means, there was nothing which could be improper. Like everything, the walls, the bricks of the walls were very much in symmetry, in the sense that nothing was coming out of its place. It was all placed right. Okay, then time could not wreck the perfect symmetry of those walls, nor the site itself, a jewel in the hollow of a hand. That means that it had been there since so long, but the time did not, uh, do anything wrong to the wall. Everything was just perfect. It was just perfect, all in symmetry. all in its lines. Okay. Now, she talks about the terrace. The terrace sloped to the lawns, and the lawn stretched to the sea. And turning, I could see the sheet of silver placed under the moon. Okay, so now she's talking about the slope of the terrace. Yeah, so if uh, if you can see the slope here, the slope of the terrace, look at this slope, you can see, right? So the slope of the terrace, she's now talking about that. Now let's come down. Yeah. Moonlight can play odd tricks upon the fancy, even upon a dreamer's fancy. As I stood there, hushed, shh, I could swear that the house was not an empty shell, but lived and breathed as it had lived before. So now she's saying that the narrator is saying that this house seems to be that beautiful the way it had been before. Okay, so nothing much had had changed. All right, and she's saying that as if she could still sense the presence of say all the people, all the inhabitants of the house. Okay, light came from the windows, the curtains blew softly in the night air. Okay, so I'll just try and show. Okay, so supposing you know supposing this is the curtain. Okay, so it was it was flying like this. I don't have the curtain to show it to you, but then I can just make you understand the way supposing the wind blows, and then how the curtains will fly. It will fly something like this, isn't it? Or it can fly like this, or it can fly like this. So that depends upon the speed of the wind, right? So the curtains kept on flying like this in the thin air of the night. Okay, so I know it's very funny, but then I just wanted you all to feel it. Okay. So now the narrator is moving towards the library. Okay. She's saying, in the library, the door would stand half open as we had left it. So it's on, she's able to see all these things in her dream. She's saying that, oh my God, the way I had kept the door opened, half open, it is still like that. Nothing has, literally changed. And then she's saying that, oh gosh, my handkerchief on the table beside the bowl of autumn roses. So you see, everything was totally perfect the way she had kept it long time before. And these all things she's able to dream the very last night. So it was all her dream about that beautiful house in which nobody was staying there. There was no smoke seen coming out from the chimney. The lodge keeper was also not there, you know, and the whole mansion was totally locked. It was locked like this with a padlock. So this beautiful description of the house, the lawn, might be, the trees in and around. These all were seen in the dream. Isn't it beautiful? Wasn't it beautiful? I wish if I could have, closed my eyes, and then a real play would have come in front of my eyes. Okay, let's come back. So I'll be talking about few, difficult words which you all might have come across. So padlock, I had explained. I think in Hindi it is called kundi. Okay, it's kind of a patch, the lock in which you just pull it towards the hole in your door, and then you put the lock, and then go wherever you wish to. So a padlock is a kind of a lock that is used to fasten one thing to another or two things together. Lodgekeeper. Lodgekeeper is a person who takes care of a small house that can be, that can be told as a service. What do you call? Your caretaker's house. It can be called, guard's room. It can be called somebody like, if you have a person to take care of your house, you give that person a small house to stay. So that person becomes the lodgekeeper. Okay. Lattice, as I told you, strips of wood or stone or metal which are arranged in crisscross in this manner. Okay, crisscross in this manner. Then forlorn here, it is nothing but an, a very, I would say, barren place or uninhabited place which has not been taken care of. Next is your wilderness or wilderness. That is a place wherein people do not control or take care of. That means you can keep on roaming around. Nobody will stop you. Okay. Symmetry means the exact match in size, proportion. So symmetry is a very, a term which you can relate to with your math subject. Okay. So that is symmetry. Fancy, to believe or imagine something which is very fanciful, which is very fantasizing. Okay. So that was about the beautiful dream. Now let's see, let's move on. Okay, so that was the story, a very short story. And I believe you have an exercise after this, the book exercise. So I have shared it in the form of a PDF, and I just want you all to go through first, read the whole story on your own, and try and visualize what the narrator might have, felt, might have understood. So I just want you all to go through it, and then I'll be sharing a PDF, maybe, in the form of a Padlet or a Jamboard. So I want you all to go through it and do the exercises which are given there in the form of the PDF, whatever the content is therein. And please do it in your MCB notebooks. And the MCQs, you can do it in your book itself. And the subjected questions, you can always do it in your MCB notebooks. So keep learning, keep, keep a track of whatever you are doing in a very systematic manner. Don't forget to mention the dates. Your writing should be legible and index to be maintained. So I think it's time that I should push off. Until then, take care, stay safe. Thank you, and Jai Hind.